Dr. Rebecca Grant, national security and military analyst, joins us now. Dr. Grant, you know about, the president sending a couple of nuclear submarines. We presume that means nuclear armed submarines because all of the subs that we have are nuclear powered. But he sent them, he says, into new positions, presumably closer to Russia. What's the reason for this, and what do you make of his response?
Wow, and this is a highly unusual comment to make. What we think this means is he's taken two of our Ohio-class boomers that carry the nuclear weapons. Now, they patrol all the time, but for maximum deterrence due to the range of their missiles, they move into launch boxes. And that would be a really clear signal to Putin that U.S. nuclear deterrence and the triad is still very strong. I'm glad Trump spoke up, but we haven't had a president say anything like this in more than 30 years. And I think also Trump may have seen some military intelligence indicating that this was a good time to make this move. Remember, Putin has been full of nuclear threats. There are also Chinese and Russian naval exercises going on right now in the Sea of Japan. So this comment on the boomers really slams the door on Putin's nuclear threats.
So this is a response to the Russians and the Chinese as well?
Yes, I think so. And of course, all connected to Ukraine. But, this goes way beyond Ukraine. Putin has modernized and expanded his nuclear force. They just launched a new nuclear sub of their own. China has one of its submarines participating in these naval exercises, and China's building up their nuclear forces. So, Putin, in a way here, is heading towards a new Cold War. And in that case, we need to make sure our U.S. triad is really strong. We've got our Ohio class, of course, Columbia class being built now to replace those in the 2030s. But it's a serious situation for sure with Putin.
In some ways, Putin has to be tremendously frustrated. I mean, he thought he was going to take all of Ukraine in the opening days of that war that he launched more than 3 years ago. As it is, he's got a strip along the eastern edge of Ukraine. He's also, of course, got Crimea, which he took during the Obama administration. But at the same time, the Ukrainians want their territory back, and they've done an amazing job of holding off the Russian bear. How does this end if, in fact, the president does put some stronger sanctions in place, secondary sanctions?
Well, it's absolutely time for those secondary sanctions. Ukraine is pretty much holding the Russians on the ground. Trump has pledged and Europe has backed up the really strong air defense that is needed to keep Ukraine in the game, Patriots, et cetera. But now the secondary sanctions need to try to squeeze the Russian economy. China is still taking 47% of Russia's oil. India is taking about 38%. And Russia's oil is about 20% of their overall economy. So this squeeze should hurt, and Trump needs to go ahead and do those secondary sanctions now while there's still a chance of enticing Putin into some kind of economic deal and leading towards a ceasefire. Otherwise, the alternative is, as long as China keeps supporting him, Putin just ramps up, whether it's with nuclear gestures or, as our commander in NATO, Alexis Grinchevich, has warned, a possible joint attack sometime in the future, Taiwan and Europe hit at the same time. It's getting really serious, and I think this is an excellent time to just go ahead and try those secondary sanctions and see if that will put China in place to put more pressure on Putin as well.
Okay, but that's clearly going to anger China and India, right? How do we respond?
Yeah, and India's already set up. We're going to keep buying the Russian oil anyway. We need India as a partner in that region, and they're a valued ally. But this is the time to negotiate this out. And I think the nuclear moves over the last few days really show the cost of doing business with Putin. And it's good that Trump is making that clear and telling India and China and some others, like Brazil, that there are consequences for buying Russian oil. This is not business as usual. Russia is on a wartime footing. They're putting the world in a dangerous place, and we've got to stop supporting them for Ukraine and for the rest of the world.
Dr. Rebecca Grant, thanks for your insights.
Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.